Troy's Everyday Eats brought to you by The Fresh Market.
Ten minutes after 7 now at WCCB News Rising. It's Everyday Eats. We are in the kitchen with Chef Troy, and we are doing 16-minute soups.
Not 15,
not 15,
not 14.
not 17, 16.
Well, 16 sounded good.
You like the alliteration. 16
I did.
soups.
16 sounded real good. Well, and the thing is that it's really only going to take about 16 minutes to cook these. You might have just a touch more time in prep, you know, depending on how your knife skills are. I know you have great knife skills.
Thank you.
Absolutely not true.
I feel like that was facetious, but I'm going to take it.
No, that was for real. Because
okay.
I've seen you cut. So I was saying that it might take you a little longer than it takes Derek.
He's just really afraid because you're the closest one to the knife right now.
Let's remove that.
You gave me a fork and...
All right, we're going to do 3 different soups. We're going to do a rice and a shrimp, and we're going to do a potato and a leek, but we're also going to do, it's an egg drop soup, but it's an Italian version called stracciatella, and I'm going to kind of southernize it up. So we've got 4 eggs here. I'm going to have you start kind of breaking those up.
Whisk it up, okay.
Whisk it up, and break all those yolks up and get it all mixed in real good.
You got it.
So what we've got in the pot over here is just some chicken stock. I went to the Fresh Market, just got some really good chicken stock, added just a little bit of water to it, just kind of, because this chicken stock, they use roasted bones, so it's really dark. So normally when you see like a drop soup, it's clear. You know,
it's like a beef broth.
And you don't have to use the chicken stock. You know, that's what the recipe's going to have in it, but you could just use water.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to add a little parsley to that.
Pinch of parsley,
so
fresh parsley.
You keep going, and then we're going to add about half a cup of good Parmesan cheese.
This is the best Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan Reggiano, you know, they sell it at the Fresh Market, and they cut it up into, you know, smaller chunks for you.
Smells good.
All right, so Derek, I'm going to have you start kind of swirling that around. Okay. I'm going to take this from you, ma'am.
So we're just going to start taking
I'm pretty sure.
Zell's mix and add it to the stock.
Right, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to create like little ribbons. So we don't want to dump this in all at once.
Okay.
We want to make sure it's nice and incorporated. We want to get all that cheese in there.
Sounds so lovely.
Ribbons.
How do you do that?
Well, Derek's going to stir just a touch faster, and I'm just going to drizzle this in real slow.
So this is kind of a 2-person job?
Yeah, it's going to... Well, no, you can do it.
I need to go?
I'm just trying to get him involved.
Do you like the pace right now?
Yeah, I think you're doing very good. So we're going to let this cook just a little bit, too, while we're off the air. So we're going to just get all this dumped in, and then it's going to cook up.
That's how you get that
So
texture.
How long do we keep stirring it once it's in?
Once it's in, you can stop for a little bit, and then you know, I'm just going to throw a little salt in now. We'll come back just a little bit, and I'll show you how to finish it up. We're going to add some mustard greens and some more flavoring.
Sounds good. Troy's Everyday Eats continues in the Rising Kitchen with 16-minute soups, and we're putting the finishing touches on the first one. Yeah, how are we at with the time?
We're at 15 minents right now.
Ooh, you better hurry. Okay.
I don't know how long it's been, but it really won't take very long. So basically, the stracciatella, or the egg drop soup, will basically just start with chicken stock. You could use water. So that's the thing, is you have all this stuff at your house, and it's easy to make soups. You don't have to use these recipes, but you know, use stuff that you got in and just kind of use some of these principles. So
Clean out the fridge day is what I call
that's a perfect soup day. So you whisked in eggs and Parmesan and parsley. We put them in there real slow. Derek stirred while I put them in there.
And Zell's on a no cheese thing right now. And she was saying, do I need the cheese? And you're saying, no, not necessarily. Actually, it'll be a little bit lighter.
It will be lighter. And I kind of like having, they almost form like a little noodle when you've got the cheese in there. So now we're adding just a little bit of mustard green. You could leave this out, but I like putting it in there.
What's the best thing about that particular green?
It's real peppery. So you got kind of the light, you know, egg and, you know, the chicken, and this is nice and peppery. I like stuff kind of spicy, so I'm going to throw in just a little bit of crushed red pepper.
There he goes. I do.
Just
I like it spicy, too.
Just like that.
Delicious.
I only think of that for pizza.
Crushed red pepper?
Anytime I see crushed red pepper, I only think pizza.
If you look at my recipes, all of them have, you know, like you know, 2 tastes: salt, pepper, crushed red pepper.
It's your go-to.
So here, we'll get this out of here. And really, you just want to wilt those greens, and that's just about it there.
So real quick.
So real quick, we'll put this in here like that.
Ooh.
You can get as much broth as you want. And you know, I'm a big fan of brothy soups. You know, we're going to have one that's got a touch of cream in it just to give it a little bit of body. But how good does that look?
It looks amazing. And then you sprinkle a little bacon on top?
That's going for our next one.
That's for the potato, right?
We're going to do a potato and leek soup, and we're going to get that started. I've got some bacon rendering. Well, I cooked the bacon. I left the drippings in there.
So I should back up because I'm about to get splattered.
Well, there's a little wet. And the reason why I'm straining, and we've still got this water in here, is we're going to use this water as part of the soup because it's kind of starchy, so it's going to bring it together just a little bit.
Because Troy owes me over $20,000 in dry cleaning bills over the last 5 years.
Is it up that high already?
Yeah.
Well, it's not as bad as I thought.
We'll get you an apron.
All right, so we've got the potatoes cooking in bacon fat. Obviously, you can use just regular oil. But what's going to go with this is leeks, and these are leeks. It looks like a big green onion.
I've never cooked with a leek. That looks so intimidating.
They have such a mild flavor. You just got to make sure you clean them, and that's what we've done. We've removed the end and the stem. You don't really want to use the green stalk. You could use it the stalks. but you want to cut them into strips and soak them in water. I've rinsed these 3 times because they grow in sand. You can kind of see the bottom of this here. You know, it's got some
It
dirt
looks like
in
a
it.
big green onion.
That's exact, and it's really mild like that, and that's why I use green onions a lot. So I just figure with potatoes, leeks, bacons, and it's just going to go good. So you gotta stick around and see how that one turns out.
Everything is cooking well here in the kitchen with Chef Troy. Hanging out here, he is taking away all your excuses this morning for saying why you can't get in the kitchen. All of the meals we're making, less than 20 minutes.
Yep, 16-minute soups is what I'm calling them.
All right.
All right, so, and you know, it might take, depending on your knife skills and some other things, you know, it might take you a little longer to cut up the potatoes or whatnot, but really, cooking time is going to take you about 16 minutes.
16 minutes.
And all this stuff is, you probably have most of it already, and you can substitute stuff as well. So we've already done the egg drop soup with the mustard greens. We're working on the potato leek soup right now. So, and what I did was I cooked the potatoes in there, but when I cut the potatoes, I put them in water. The amount of water that we're using there, 4 to 6 cups. We kept the water, but we took the potatoes out and sauteed them in there. Now, keeping the water is important because that kind of helped thicken it up just a little bit, give it a little bit of body.
A little starch to it?
I added just a touch of flour to it as well. And then we added the leeks to it, and then I'm going to add some peas.
Now, are these frozen peas?
These are frozen peas I just let thaw already.
Okay.
So we're going to stir those in, and then just a touch of cream.
Ooh.
Yeah, about like, maybe just about like that. How about?
Okay.
I measured that precisely. So now I'm going to add just a little bit more pepper. Because anytime you add something, whether it's water or whatever, you want to add, taste it and add, you know, until you get it to your liking. And then, of course, a little bit of crushed red pepper. And then that one's pretty much good to go.
Okay, so now just let it sit.
We're going to let it warm through just a little bit.
Okay.
And while we do that, I'm going to get started with our next soup, which is a shrimp and rice, which I've already got some butter going with some carrots, some jalapeno peppers, and some green onions.
And you diced it so nicely. I mean, it's very, very fine.
I got mad. Nice skills. Now, the reason for that is
you're so urban in the kitchen.
it's gonna cook a little bit faster for you. That's like, you know, same way with the leeks. Cut them thin. Cut the potatoes small. Now I just added the garlic at the last minute, and then we're gonna add just a little bit of tomato paste. So you can see in all these soups there's just a basic flavoring. You know, in the egg drop soup we use Parmesan. In this we use, you know, bacon fat obviously, and just a little bit of flour. We're going to get, now you want to melt the tomato paste in there, so this is going to be a nice little base start to this.
Okay.
So we're also going to use some cooked rice already, or rice that's already cooked, some shrimp, some mushrooms we're going to add in at the end. So now this is what's going to flavor the sauce. So it's going to be real brothy.
Okay.
And nothing wrong with brothy soups, you know, even like our potato soup isn't too bad. And I want you to see what that looks like. Let's go ahead and get that out. I know we got to roll.
Okay.
Let's get this out.
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds, but I'd love to see this come out.
Check this out. And you know, it's nice and smooth and creamy. I mean, it's just like what you want in a potato soup.
You know, and the great thing about these recipes is as it's starting to get a little colder, even though this week it's been pretty warm, but you know, as it's starting to get a little colder here, these are perfect, really quick lunch meals or even dinner meals that you can put together for everybody in the family.
Yeah, and you can use a lot of leftovers doing soups. That's why soup makes soup so great.
Perfect. Good
Appreciate it,
stuff,
my
Tricky
friend.
Troy. Hanging out here in the kitchen with Chef Troy, who is cooking up some wonderful soups for us. And the great thing about all of these is that you can literally make them in 20 minutes or less. Chef Troy says 16. With Zella, my cooking experience is going to be closer to 20.
Exactly.
Well, and the cooking process will only take about 16 minutes. But, you know, it might take a little longer to cut some stuff up. But, you know, the whole point of this is that you can make a nice, hearty, healthy meal. Yeah. And I was telling you that, you know, when I came up with these recipes, it was cold out.
Right.
So, you know, yesterday it was like 60 degrees
warm,
or something.
But, I mean, it's still going to be chilly. And, I mean, this is, like you said, it's healthy, it's filling, it's easy, and it lasts through the week. What I love about making soup, if it's just like in our house, the two of us, it lasts a while.
Yeah, and it's always better the second day.
Exactly.
So this is our shrimp and rice. It's going to be our shrimp and rice. And basically we just started with some carrots. I love green onions, so I threw some green onions in there. Okay. Jalapenos, but you know, use what you got at home.
Oh,
I mean,
spicy.
Yeah, well, just a little bit. Just kind of a little
kick.
undertone. I take the seeds out and the membrane and all that, so it's not too. We've got the shrimp in there that we just poached right in the liquid.
Some mushrooms, and you did shiitakes.
Shiitakes, and then we're adding just a little bit of pre-cooked rice. So this could just be leftover rice. Maybe you had some, you know, takeout, you know, the other day or whatever. And then we're just going to get this kind of stirred in.
Ooh.
And while this is finishing up before we plate it, actually, I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of lemon in there.
Wow, I bet that would make your whole house smell so good.
Oh, big time.
It smells really good right now.
And then we'll add some parsley, and then we'll kind of let it do its thing.
Let it sit through.
While we're and that once you get to this point, it's pretty
crawling.
much done. You know, just want to add some salt and some pepper, and just to your liking. But once all that stuff will warm through, it's done. Now we did 2 other ones. We did an egg drop soup. I did an Italian version called stracciatella, and of course I had to throw some greens in it, so I threw some mustard greens in there. That's the one on the left there.
Okay.
And then we did the potato and leek soup, which was super simple as well. And the other thing was cut stuff small, so it cooks fast.
Right, because if you have the spoon, it's like awkward when it's just falling everywhere. You want to be able to get it in that spoon.
It's got to be spoon size.
Spoon
and
size.
that way it cooks just a little bit faster too. So and then we'll get, now all the recipes are on WCCB Charlotte, clicking on the rise.
Now putting in those mushrooms, does that kind of add the feel of a meat?
Yeah, I was
because
going to say
thick?
it's kind of
it looks like chicken, but it's kind of add that feel that you're actually eating a piece of protein.
It will give you a mouthfeel like that. And
Okay.
the thing is, I don't like cooking those too much because they have such a great flavor. But sometimes if you cook them too much, you just lose that.
Is that really what my portion's supposed to be?
Well, this is Terrence's. I haven't done yours yet. We got to get a
Portion
bigger
control?
bowl for you. Now, you said you could have, you're doing some kind of funky cleanse or something, so you can't have this because it's got rice in it.
Some kind of
Just
funky
take the rice
funky
out and I can eat it. Funky.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what other kind of cleanse would there be?
I mean, you're pretty much right on the money there, Troy.
You guys cannot get over this cleanse. It's so funny.
If you,
All right,
if you
well,
cleanse
I can
properly.
eat the shrimp out of there and the mushroom.
I'll add another one there.
Okay,
This
there we
is
go.
cool. And of course, you can get all of these recipes on our website, WCCBCharlotte.com. Once again, folks, Troy says you can do this in 16 minutes cook time.
Nice.